They're getting together tonight and deciding on whether they are going to redirect funds that were originally directed at climate action grants and actually put it toward Australia Day celebrations, Anzac Day celebrations, community services and roads. So actual local government council things. This is revelatory. We are with you. Let's hope this catches on. Mornington Peninsula. We read in the paper today up to $250,000 would be invested in local area community capital infrastructure grants. $100,000 would be allocated to BioLink support grants.
The hell is
and
that?
A further $50,000 set aside for the biosphere. Road safety, emergency services and lifeguards would be boosted by $115,000 in community-led safety subsidies, and tourism centres across the region would share in $80,000. So if the council adopts this, they're going to scrap $160,000 in climate grants, which were previously used to pay for all bits and pieces and a group called Repower and We're Saving the Planet. When everyone just wants road rates and rubbish done, it looks like the Mornington Peninsula is actually returning to its remit.
You know, I had to look up in that quote about $100,000 for BioLink support grants. What wank is this? Anyway, apparently BioLink is where you get like little bits of habitat and sort of build them together so that, I don't know, chlamydia-infested koalas can walk from one paddock to another. Apparently that's what BioLink
I'm sure that is in the budget.
Anyway, good on them. But one of the things that does annoy me about this is that they're cutting $350,000 out of the arts, and I think that's one of the things that you could argue does actually add something to the community as opposed to... Of course it does. Of course it does.
The state of the arts. Caleb, every time we put up a story about the latest artistic decision by a council, it's a communist eyesore.
I'd happily
It looks like we're back in Soviet Russia.
I don't disagree. I'd happily give $350,000 for the local orchestra and an opera group. That's where I'd
like
spend
that.
the
They
money.
were giving money to local musos to help them launch their debut.
Yeah, I know. There should be better oversight over that. But eyes on the prize, though. They've also asked for $5 million to be found in wages, and good on them, and another $5 million in other service efficiencies elsewhere, good on them. But last month they scrapped, and this will probably get up, and this is the indicator, is that last month they scrapped their climate emergency declaration. And can you believe it? In the last 3 years, the Mornington Peninsula Council in Victoria had spent $11.7 million on climate-related things.
No wonder they're cracking down.
$11.7 million on the climate. This is a council, for heaven's sake.
And that includes $4 million for wages for people to administrate the remaining $7 million to somehow change the climate. They've decided that from now on funding must meet 3 criteria, and these are revelatory. Funding needs to be transparent.
Oh.
It needs to be well considered.
No.
And third, it needs to deliver clear public value. Imagine that.
Incredible.
Yeah, I know.
I love this.
I'm about to
People
fall
like
off
it.
the
But back
chair.
to your point about climate emergencies, Kingston Council in Victoria, they declared a climate and ecological emergency a few years ago. And of course, once you declare an emergency, over 90 councils around Australia have done this, then they've got to have a climate emergency plan. And of course, the plan then requires funding. So Kingston Council, they spent $1 million out of their ratepayer budget on trying to change the climate. I'm just wondering if any of these staff ever get sacked when the temperature doesn't change.
Well, it sounds like some of them are going to, because they also, like Caleb mentioned, the councils have directed the bureaucrats who run every single council, but theirs in particular, to gouge millions of dollars out of what they're currently forking out for employees, for council employees. So maybe it's an overall crackdown.
It sounds like Doge to me. Do you think they'll be smeared as
no, here we go. They'll have
Trump
to get
politics?
It'll be all over. It'll be all over. Once I reckon I would make a good climate emergency officer. I reckon I'd be perfectly cut out for the job, because if anyone knows how to squander some money, I'm probably the man to do it.